my name's Dan, and I'm building a modular Azure-first .NET framework for SaaS called SaaScore.net. I just want to open up with thanking people for the comments last time, for the last videos. Some people pointed out some specific helpful feedback, which as soon as I uploaded the videos, I sort of realised as well that, oh, okay, I've made a mistake here. Like webcam quality, the audio quality, that was my lavalier mic wasn't working. I used webcam, and that was a bad idea. Video compression, when I used Opus clips, that was that was a complete blunder, and something that I've been living with for years, but never really occurred to me was like the default settings of ReSharper with the indentation of anonymous functions, and it was like I've changed that now, and it's so much better. So it's just one of these things that you live with, and then you don't really notice. So what's this video about now? So this is not a polished demo. This is going to be about the admin dashboard and where it's currently standing. It's not feature complete, but I've made progress, and it's kind of a good sort of showcase where it's at the moment. So the reason I wanted to do this one over the feature flags is because it's quite visually captivating, because you can actually see your tenancy and all that sort of thing. So yeah, what is SaaScore.net again? It's a modular multi-tenant SaaS framework for .NET developers. This is all the boring stuff that you need to have in your SaaS products, but takes a long time. The idea is that this is going to save you as a developer a lot of time, or as an organization. We can cut months of development out just from configuring a framework, right? So, it's infrastructure. It's not a template. It's designed to do the full sort of deployment side of things as well, which I'll be coming to in a later video. But yeah, that's effectively what SaaScore.net is and what it's the problems that it's trying to solve. Okay, so let's jump into the code, and I'll give you the example that I'm going to show today of the dashboard. I have changed some of the tools that I'm using, because I realized I'm using Opus clips, and that really did not like SQL Server Management Studio. So when I show database, I'm going to do it in Visual Studio Code, just because then you can sort of centralize things a bit better, and it looks a bit, it's not white, a white screen, so it doesn't blind people. So yeah, just give you a quick rundown of the general layout again, just so people can understand what SaaScore is providing. So obviously we've got the normal API. This is going to be, where your application lives, and all of the sort of user-facing endpoints that your users can interface with SaaScore with, like updating, user details and things like that. And then we've got clean architecture layout straight from the get-go. So you've got application layer, domain layer, and infrastructure layer. They each have their own dependency injection. I showcased these features last time. And then in the infrastructure, you've got your database initializer, which I showcased in the last video. Okay, but then also we've got here the admin API, which is what I'm going to show you today. So again, this isn't feature complete. I did showcase this a little bit in the last video. I don't think I had it running. I can't remember, but basically I did this. There was some sort of like ad hoc code in there to get the admin dashboard running. I've now fixed that because I did have like the distribution files in the project as well, but now I've compiled it all as part of the package, and then you can just use this map SaaScore admin dashboard, and then that will add the root. There is an issue with this at the moment where I'm doing a root prefix, but that's not actually working. So it will at the moment be /admin, whilst I figure out that sort of that routing. For some reason, the front end is not working if you have it as like a sort of relative prefix. So I'll figure that out. Another thing to add as well, these aren't injected at the CLI level to get this working. This is just me trying to get this working to some extent. So I've had to manually add these, but these will be added in once this is actually pushed up and released into NuGet. There's a minor refactoring that I need to do on the CLI tool to get that working. Okay, so I'm just going to run it, and then we shall see. Okay, so I think maybe I showed this last video. Can't remember, or the first video, but it's got some endpoints here. These are just contracts defined. These aren't actually fully complete. I do have some of the endpoints done, but the idea is that you'll go to the admin, and you can see here we've actually started populating from the DB. Oh, we've got tenants and users, sort of like as a system overview, you know, at the moment. Obviously this is healthy, it's got no components. I've not registered the database into it or anything like that. So, you know, again, work in progress, but it's coming along. Then we've got tenants. So you can see here that we're actually pulling in tenants now. And then if we go to root tenant, you know, we can add this, we can edit this, and you know, that's as far as I've pretty much got with this. You can obviously see the features. I haven't got the tenant users being brought down yet, but we're getting there. And yeah, so there's a couple of things that I've had to do had to implement to get this working from an endpoints perspective, because I'm doing like an act as tenant context, so that obviously this page here, the admins would want to see all the tenants within the system. So that's going to be a require no tenant. So then basically you'll just remove all the query filters on that DB query. And then what, obviously when you go in, you've then got, oh, I'm acting on this specific tenant, therefore all the changes I make need to be localized to that tenant. So what we've got is that if there's a tenant ID in the URL, then that will override the tenant context with that one, and it'll be like acting on behalf as. So again, huge auditing things that need to happen and all of that stuff that's just going to come later. But yeah, this is where we're at with it. We're getting the endpoints actually implemented now. A lot of these aren't implemented. This is just pulling the feature flags, but you know, if we go to the features, it's pretty much the same thing here. Whilst I'm on the features, just quickly, there was a bug in the last demonstration where the key wasn't being populated properly, and I was getting 403s and just didn't really understand what was going on. But it was just, I didn't use a specific helper to define what the key is. So when I was seeding the database, this wasn't being populated properly. But that's all working now. I've sorted that out. I've not got the pagination working. Obviously, I've just hard-coded this at the moment just to get things underway. But yeah, that's the admin dashboard as it currently stands. Just going to quickly do a check on the Visual Studio Code and how it's you know, working with SQL Server. So SQL.tenants, and then okay, so you can see there root tenant test that did actually save. It wasn't like a local caching on the front end side of things, so we are able to edit the tenants at the moment. So we're making progress with the dashboard. There's a few things that obviously still aren't working, but yeah, that's where we're at with the dashboard. So what's coming next? So obviously tomorrow I'm going to do another video. I'm going to focus it more on the feature side of things, with feature gating and feature usage. So how you can extend your endpoints to guard your endpoints by feature type. And then something that I need to tackle pretty sharpish is going to be the authentication side of things. So what I'm thinking to do with that is I I'm not sure which authentication provider to go with for the first. Obviously, I'm going for Azure-first, and I was thinking, oh well, maybe I can use the identity models. I know I don't like that. So I was thinking, oh, okay, maybe I could do like Keycloak or Auth0 or something like that. But I'm still working on figuring out what I want to do. If anyone's got any suggestions for authentication type that they'd like to see. Also, the authentication on the admin dashboard isn't set up at all. It's just like a dummy login screen, which you just put any sort of partially valid email in, and you can log in. But I would love to do an example of registering that in Azure as an enterprise application, and then exposing an API with certain roles and stuff, and using that to log in, because in enterprise level applications, that's what they would be using for authentication, right? They will be managed by Enter ID, and so that's where I'm thinking of going with that. Yeah. So one thing I would like to do is I'm just going to show you the pre-release website. 2 seconds. Okay. So this is the SaaScore.net pre-release website. Basically just going to tell you the sort of overview of what I want it to have in terms of features and stuff for, like, version 1. And we've got people actually signing up to this now, which is fantastic. From my perspective, having that, just from 1 week of actually, publicizing the creation of this, that's a great win for me. So you can obviously get early access. Now, there are 2 tiers with that. You've got the free one, which is you just get notified when we launch, access to the documentation early, launch day pricing, then you've got founder access, which costs $99, but you get everything in early access. You get the lifetime license, which is $99, and then you get access to SaaScore.net for life, all the future expansions of it. Just for supporting me in the initial sort of setup of this. So that's where we're at the moment. And yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.